Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bring Back Focus, a podcast where we explore how to do your best work in a world full of noise and distraction. Today's episode is about something very simple but almost never done. It's concept called thinking time. The biggest irony of knowledge work today is that we rarely get the time to actually think and think deeply. We spend most of our time either reacting, which is answering emails, sitting in meetings, chasing deadlines. Even when we block off focus time, right? Most of that goes into executions. We are either finishing some slides, we are writing some document, planning something. We're always doing, but hardly ever thinking. And thinking is where the best ideas come from, most creative ideas come from. They come from those quiet moments between all the noise that we are chasing. So a few weeks ago, this happened to me, and that's what changed my perspective on thinking time. I've always understood this concept in theory. I've read about it. I read the fact that you have to give some silence for your brain to process creative ideas. But that time it really hit me. I had like a short gap between some of my meetings. I had no agenda, no phone, no laptop. So what it was, is I was just sitting there in silence. And in that moment, something very interesting happened. My brain almost started connecting dots that I hadn't noticed before. I looked up some of my old client notes and I realized that there was this one client meeting where this client had said something just casually, in the passing. I took a note, but then never acted upon it. And when I was sitting there, I realized that maybe there's something that I can do about it. Maybe I can take the lead from there, create something, and send that to her as a follow up. So I just did exactly that. I spent some time thinking about what I could send as a follow up. And I built that and I sent it to her. And what happened was that helped me get an opening. The client responded and they said that they wanted to connect. Now, this might lead to something, it might not lead to anything. The point is that this wouldn't have happened had it not been for me taking the time to think and do nothing. Just think about a problem or think about a situation. So what happens? Let's look at the science behind why this happens. What happens when you stop away from constant doing is your brain doesn't shut down. It just switches gear, and that's the part of your brain which is called the default mode network. It's on. It turns on when your mind is relaxed, when you're either walking, showering, just daydreaming. That's when this mode of your brain is on. And what it does is this is something very interesting. It quickly connects some ideas, links memory. So if you have three or four different ideas in your brain, it does a fantastic job of connecting those ideas together and maybe form something new out of it. And that's the reason why so many good ideas come to you in the shower or during a walk. It's not random, or it's not just happenstance. It happens because your brain is processing information in the background. Scientists call this the incubation effect. When you stop trying to force an answer, your mind finds it naturally. The key is to give yourself the quiet time. And we are so used to thinking about this quiet time as waste of time. It really isn't. It is one of the most productive use of time. Some of the best thinkers have always known this. Bill Gates, for example, he takes what he calls think weeks. He goes away with a stack of books and papers. He has no meetings, no messages. He goes away somewhere and just takes time to think. And most of his, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of his biggest ideas started during those weeks. Now, I completely understand that all of us cannot take a week off in a cabin, but we can absolutely create those small moments of solitude in our own lives. So, how do you do that? Start very small. Like everything that I say, start small, maybe an hour a week, like 2 blocks of 30 minutes sometime in the week. That's good enough to get started. And you don't need anything. You, in fact, should turn off your laptop, turn off all your screens. Just give your mind space to wander. What I do is, and what I would recommend is to keep a notebook with you, a pen and notebook, so you can capture thoughts that are coming to your head. Don't use that to plan or analyze, but to just capture the thoughts that come freely to you. It helps to keep a place to jot down all those things, all those ideas and thoughts that come to your mind, and let your mind move freely around either a problem or a question or something that you're grappling with. Do not try to chase any outcome. Do not try to force any clarity. Just think and let that do its work. It may sound weird, but it really, really works. You try it out. At the end of the day, knowledge work depends on the quality of our thinking and our thoughts, which are then executed. If we do not take time to think, we are not performing to our best of the abilities. Somewhere along the way, we started measuring our worth by how much we produce, and that's important. But every big breakthrough doesn't come when you're busy, it comes when you have time to think and pause long enough so that two ideas in your brain get connected. So, next time you feel guilty for not being productive, remind yourself that thinking is productive. It is just a quieter form of it. Lastly, if there is one thing you'll want to take away from this episode, it is this: give yourself the permission to think. Even 30 minutes of uninterrupted thought can change how you see your work, your goals, and your life. In a world that's constantly shouting for your attention, your biggest advantage might just be your ability to pause and think. Thank you so much. I hope this helped. I'll be back with a new episode very soon. Thank you. Take care.